So, glad to see you here. Thank you for devotions. It was good. Thank you for class. This year he was giving some examples. An example came to mind that Jerry told me. I was thinking maybe he would tell you. I think he said it here in church before, but one example I remember that he told me one time, just to have a closer relationship with God for a short time. He told me sometimes he would decide, I don't know, 1 week or a few days, what's up, status, leave. And that was a good idea. I've tried it some. Sometimes 1 day, 2 days, whatever. Okay. So, topic today is not Christmas, it's not New Year. Yes, we could match it. One of the songs, there was another one, talked about living by faith. What tomorrow happens, we don't worry, it helps nothing. That's kind of topic, part of it. So, in Second Chronicles, Second Chronicles, chapter 14 to 20, we have stories about two kings. First one, that's the name of the king. That's the story of this king. He was a good king. He was obeying God. We already heard that the Israelites, they were back and forth. Sometimes they obeyed God, fell away, God sent them a punishment, they turned back. That had been happening for years. This king, he turned to God seriously, deeply. The idols, he destroyed them. Later on, his own mother was not good. So what did he do? His mother kicked her out of the kingdom. He was obeying God. And we read in chapter 14. It says, he obeyed what was right and good. The strange altars, he destroyed them. And he told all the people, Jews, he told them, you need to obey God. And it goes on. And it says, he had an army of 580,000 soldiers he had. And when he went, God helped him. And now it happened in verse 8 of people, a king. They were from Africa, black people. They came with a lot bigger army. They had a million soldiers. So that was many. An army that came to fight. And here, he had a lot, but they, a lot more. And then, the king, he realized, I cannot defeat it. My strength cannot. This is about half those. So what can he do? In verse 11, it says, and the king, he cried unto God, and he prayed. And he said, God, you can help. For you, it's no difference if it's a lot or a few. For you, you can defeat them. And then, in verse 12, it says, and God defeated the army. They were a lot. They could not defeat them, and God. What did they do? They went all around. They followed them, and these were defeated. And the cities around, they defeated them. And they got a lot of riches. Gold, different things, they got it. God had helped them. Okay, we'll stop the story there now. Later we'll continue. Now, the next king. When he died, his son was the new king. So this was his son. The story begins in chapter 17, I think. But I will tell the story from chapter 20. So he obeyed and he served God. He loved God, with him, Israel, together. They served God. And then, King was here. He had the same problem that his father had. It was a different group. These were two kings, two countries together. They got together and marched to defeat Israel. What did he do? Just like his father, he began to cry to God. And not only himself, he told all the others, he said, beg God for help. We cannot defeat them. Those were a lot. Those countries that were coming were the same countries that Moses and the Israelites had problems with them. And now two armies were coming. And here the king with the people. They were on their knees begging God. On their faces begging God for help. And then in verse 13 it says, all of the Jews, the children, the wives, and the sons, they were begging God for help. They were afraid. They knew could not defeat them. And then in verse 14, there it says, it was a prophet. Well, I think it was a priest. God's Spirit came on a prophet, and this prophet said, don't worry, God will defeat you. This king, what did he do? Immediately, he started praising God. They hadn't even defeated them yet. But this king started praising God with the people. Before, all of them had been begging God for mercy. And now, who's that king? You already done did that one? This was the second one. Both of them. So here, he had been begging God for mercy. And then God promised, I will defeat them. And they started praising. This king, he called a lot of people singers. I don't know if they got swords, spears, I don't know. But as they started singing. Singing and praising God. What happened here? These two groups, they began fighting each other and killing each other. The Jews, as they got there, all they saw, dead bodies. And they started collecting a lot. I think it says for 3 days. Yeah, so a lot. and defeated them. So we think, wow, two kings that obeyed God, two kings that trusted God, two kings, both of them, father and his son later, both of them begging God for mercy. Both of them, God heard them and helped them defeat the enemy. But that is not the end of the story. Sadly, both of those kings, later in their life, they forgot to trust God. This one, he had defeated the enemies, came back for 10 years, he had peace. There was no problem. And then we find out in chapter 16. In chapter 16, says another king. Actually, this king, before, the Israelites were a big group. And then they separated. But the Jews here and Israel, two groups. This group of Israel started to bother them. They started to build or take ownership of a city here. And this king didn't like it. What did he do? He forgot. Now he forgot to turn to God. Maybe it was a small problem. In the past, God had helped him a big group to defeat. Now, this problem, what did he do? I have an idea. He called another evil king. He called, please, come and help me. Please help me. So that king, all right, fine, I'll help. So that king, and defeated him. And then a prophet came and warned him. The prophet came and warned him. He said, you're wrong. You should have trusted God. Now you forgot to trust God and you call another king. In the past, those that helped you. Now, your own idea, you called other person to help. He got mad. He took that prophet, put him in jail. And then it happened in verse 12, chapter 16, verse 12, it says, this king, he became sick in his feet. He couldn't walk. And what did he do? It says, he did not seek God, but he trusted doctors. So this king, he had a big problem. He understood his own strength, he could not defeat them. He obeyed God. He begged God for help. And God helped defeat him. Later, another problem. He ignored God. He called, he trusted. That's a strong army. I think he can help me. He called him, defeated him. And then, he became sick in his feet. What did he do? God knows. Doctors. He died. his son, he had also experienced a big problem. And he had begged God for help. And God helped defeat. What did he do? In chapter 20. Verse 35. There it says, this king, he agreed with an evil king. He forgot to seek God, and he agreed with an evil king. And he said, see, we have the water, we have the ocean. Together, we will build big ships. We will buy and sell, make money. What happened? A prophet, he was 37. He prophesied, and it happened. Two together, their ships were destroyed. God did not bless them. It says their ships never left. They got destroyed. So we see both of them had experienced a big problem. They had trusted God. Both of them, the time was easy, with peace, swift going. He forgot to trust God. He trusted his own strength or other person's strength. He trusted his own wisdom. He forgot to ask God about buying the ships with the two of them, the evil king. Both of them. In the end, God could not bless them. Proverbs 3, verse 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. This king, he forgot to seek God in all his ways. Yes, he had been obeying him. Yes, in the past God had helped. But now, his idea with the ships, my own understanding. This king, yes, he had been obeying God. Yes, God helped him. But now, this problem, my own idea. I will call another king. And God punished both of them. Here it says, in all ways, acknowledge God. Verse 7, do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. This king forgot to depart from evil. This king, evil, God punished him. These verses, he said, trust God. I am thinking in my life, sometimes it's so easy to trust and help. Yeah, I can do it. If it's a big problem, yeah, I will beg God for help. But if it's a smaller problem, I can do it myself. The verse said, in all your ways, acknowledge Him. And money. You know, we have here different people. Some have more money, some have a little bit. But this king did not first pray to God before he bought the ships. Or maybe sometimes it happens. A rich person thinks, I don't need God to help me. I don't need. I can pay it myself. Or maybe doctors were sick. I can pay doctors. And we forget to remember it's God who can help. Doctors, it's good. I am thankful to God for doctors. But for me, I need to remember, yes, God can use doctors. Yes, God gives wisdom to doctors, and they can help me. But I need to remember, who can really help me? It's not the doctor. It's God. Or if we have trouble, like this king, he has a little trouble. Quickly. The verse said, in all things, no matter big, small, trust God. For friends, it's good to have friends. It's wonderful. This king, he was friends with the evil one. God punished him. I think it's not wrong if we have non-Christian friends, but we need to be careful to not just first God. What about obeying the Bible? Yeah, the Bible tells me I need to do that, but I will use my idea. A list of things the Bible tells us we need to obey, but my idea. I think my way is right. Is that truly trusting God always? This is the most important one. Salvation. All of us are on our way to hell. But Jesus came down and He wants to save. But do I fully trust God? Do I understand my strength? I can do nothing. Only Jesus. There was a man, a story. A man, he thought, yeah, I want to go to heaven. I have an idea. I will, from here to a faraway city, I will crawl to that city, and then God will accept me. Is that right? No. It says, in all your ways, trust God. So, what do we do then? Okay, all right, fine. Trust God, I will do nothing. Is that right? James 2, verse 26. The body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead. Fully trust God. And then these kings, when they were trusting God, when they had that big problem, what did they do? Just no. They went, praised, and worshiped, and collected all the things, and followed it. It was not their own strength. It was God defeating them, but these kings obeyed and still marched. I cannot, with my works, pay. I can't. But that does not mean that I do nothing. I obeyed this. As the verse said, in all your ways, acknowledge Him. Whatever we do, acknowledge Him. And here's the verse. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your path. So, right now, 2025 is almost done. Next year, 26 is almost here, and maybe we're wondering what will happen. Encouragement for you, encourage myself. In all your ways, acknowledge Him. And remember, it is God who helps us. Short story. The end. There was a man who was working on the roof. That roof was very steep. It was dangerous to fall. And this man, he was working. All of a sudden, he started falling. He said, "God, please help me. Please help me. Please." And then, what happened? Nails at the sign. A nail, and he stayed there. He did not fall. What did he say? He said, "Oh, okay. You do not need to help me. We have the nail. I'm safe now. You did not need to help me." Is that right? No. Man forgot. Truly, it is God who helps. Mother's help. Like these kings. First, they remembered God. Later, they depended on something else. This man, depended on something else. Let's depend on God. And Father, we thank you. You love all. Sometimes we forget to trust you. Sometimes we depend on other things, on our own wisdom. Help us understand we have only you. Help us to obey you. Pray for the blessing each one, the family, the struggles,